Hi everyone, so this is my fifth video vlog for Informatics 685 at Mercer University, and this week we're discussing the prototyping methodology and comparing it to other SDLC models. So prototyping is a type of design methodology that produces an early, rapidly constructed version of a proposed system, which is referred to as a prototype. The process of producing a prototype involves repeating the steps of analysis, and this is where the team gets together to basically plan out what the consumer wants and how they're going to go about executing it and analyzing all the needs of the consumer. The design phase is where they come together to design what the prototype will look like and what all it will encompass. The modeling phase is where they actually come up with a model that will be tested that they feel like encompasses everything that the consumer needs and wants. And then the testing phase is when the user comes in and tests the model that the team came up with. And at that point, they can either approve and accept the model or make changes for the team to go back and modify the prototype. Um, and these steps are repeated until the prototype matches the desired product. So if there are changes that need to be made to the prototype, the team will start from the beginning by reanalyzing what the changes are that need to be made, then redesigning and remaking the model. Every stage of the process of developing a prototype involves some sort of user input or feedback. So this type of modeling is very user oriented because it allows the user to test the product and approve it and make changes. So it is dependent on that user feedback. There are two types of prototyping methods. One of them is system prototyping, which involves producing a fully working model of an information system, and the other is design prototyping, which involves making a prototype and using that prototype to verify that the model meets all the user's requirements and all their needs and wants. And then once you're sure or not sure that the model meets the requirements, once you're sure that it does, or if they say that changes need to be made, that prototype is then thrown away before either a new one is made or for the actual implementation process is started. So in comparison to the other methodologies for SDLC, the prototyping method is typically for a more complex system, a system that will require a model to be done. It requires higher maintenance. It is solely dependent on user involvement, so it requires higher user involvement. And it has a little more room for flexibility than other SDLC models like the waterfall method, which is very rigid and doesn't have room for any changes, because once you finish one step, you have to go on to the next step. And this prototyping method requires more of a budget, so it has higher costs associated with it. The prototyping method and the agile method pretty much go hand in hand. They are more comparable in that the agile method also involves heavy user input and interaction. And also with the agile method, there's a prototype that's developed for the users to actually see and test like the working model that's produced in the agile method versus the other SDLC models that only come up with like proposals or diagrams to be told to the users. But I mean, they can see the diagram, but not actually like feel it and touch it and work with the actual product as they can with the prototyping method and with the agile method. They just can go by what the team is telling them the system is going to encompass versus actually seeing it for themselves and saying, hey, we like this, we'll approve it, let's go ahead with implementation. Or no, we want these changes made based on working with it, let's make these changes and then it'll be approved.